Hello everyone, it's Evelyn and thank you for stopping by my channel. Today's video is going to be all about my create your own doll, including the process of creating her, unboxing and opening her and her accessories, reviewing her, and comparing her to some of my other dolls. I'll also dive into my overall experience, my opinions on the process, as well as some opinions from my AGIG friends. So let's get started. During the process of designing my first CYO doll, I knew I wanted to have a feature combination that I couldn't achieve on my own at home by doing wig and eye swaps. Because of that, I chose the Josefina mold in the number 30 tone because it is the only tone not available in that face mold already, and out of all of the mold and tone combinations, that one appealed the most to me. I went back and forth on the hairstyle because I originally wanted tight curls or the straight textured, but my dolls that have black hair either have tight curls or stick straight hair, so I went with waves instead. I decided on black hair because my darker skinned dolls mostly have a dark brown hair, like Gabriella for example. I chose the light brown eyes because they would be a new color in my collection, and honestly they are just so gorgeous. I chose the relaxed to the max outfit because I think it has the most versatile pieces for mix and match, and the fun with fashion accessories mostly for the coffee cup. I decided to go with all of the options, pierced ears, hearing aids, glasses, braces, so that I could get the most value out of the doll that I could. Of course, the day after I created my doll and ordered her is when they added the Kaya mold, but I still am happy with having the Josefina mold because I really want to be intentional about the way that I use the Kaya mold, and the Josefina mold's probably my favorite at this time. I ordered this doll on April 13th and received her just 2 weeks later on April 27th. I pulled out my camera right away, excited to open her since I had just launched my YouTube channel, and this is what I found. A massive shine mark in the middle of her forehead. I called customer service right away because I wasn't sure what to do since she was non-returnable, and they said that I can try to use a paste of baking soda and water before returning her, but that we could either do a doll hospital visit or a refund and replace. We agreed that a refund and replace would be my best option since she came so quickly in the first place. I reordered the doll after my refund cleared on May 5th and received her replacement 2 weeks later on May 19th. Overall, I'm pretty bummed that such a huge shine mark made it past QC, which resulted in me waiting twice as long for my doll. This isn't the first time a huge shine mark or a scuff has made it past QC. I've seen it here on YouTube quite frequently. But I am still pleased that the customer service rep didn't question me. She didn't even ask for pictures. She just took care of me immediately, and I ended up still getting the doll sooner than I initially expected. With that said, I would love to introduce you to my new girl, Ren. This doll is so much more beautiful than I could have ever expected. Her feature combination in person is even more striking than the camera can pick up. Right away, I noticed that she has a bit of a different appearance than the first one I received, because her face is a little bit chubbier. My first one did have some uneven eyes though, so I'm much happier with this girl overall. In fact, because of her chunkier cheeks, she ended up looking even more unique in my collection, which is always a plus. After seeing this black hair color in person too, I love it. It has some highlights and lowlights, which of course you can't tell on the generated version, so that was a nice surprise. Her eyes pop against her skin and eyes, but they're still a beautiful, realistic brown. As I was holding her and looking at her, I realized pretty quickly that this probably is not my last CYO doll. Now let's take a look at the accessories. First up, we have the beanie, which is a nice neutral gray. I don't use beanies often, but it's nice to have one that isn't pink or purple. Next, we have a satin scrunchie, which is just like the one I wear to bed. The necklace that it comes with is actually pretty cute, and the quality is not too bad. And now for my favorite piece, the coffee cup, which I realized is actually a hot cocoa because the doll's supposed to be a kid, but it's still such a cute accessory, and it actually has a little design when you open the lid, which is absolutely adorable. Here's the rose gold glasses, which are my favorite glasses at the moment. And next is a blue scrunchie. This one's made out of a cotton material as opposed to satin, and it actually looks like it came straight out of Courtney's collection. This star ring is so tiny, and I may have already lost it, but it's a nice addition to the set. And the backpack. It's nothing special, but I do like that it's a light blue that could coordinate with a variety of outfits. It's made out of an imitation leather material, and it fits all of the accessories nicely. Here's some braces that you can stick on your doll with a few colors to choose from. And because I chose a hearing aid for her, they provided a reference booklet that shows the alphabet and sign language, which I thought was a nice touch. My daughter keeps this in her room now because she's interested in learning ASL, so this was a happy surprise for me. And lastly, there is this little sparkly purple lip gloss, which looks just like something I would have slathered all over my lips in middle school. Before I get into the review of the doll, I wanted to touch on the value of what I received for my $220. Of course, having the doll designed by you, a one-of-a-kind doll, does have value itself. But let's talk about the value of the physical aspects. A standard 18-inch American Girl doll costs $115, so how do we justify spending $220 on a CYO? The accessories and add-ons that come included with this doll certainly do up the value of what you're getting, which I hope to illustrate here. For my doll, I included all of the extra options and tallied up how much these would all cost if I purchased them separately. An accessory set like the one that comes with the CYO would likely cost between $30 and $36. I added accessories on to a Truly Me doll, and that bundled together added $31 to the cost of the doll, so that's the figure I've used here. The ear piercing service cost $18, but that does typically include an earring set that you don't get here. The hearing aid costs $14 to add to the doll, and the rose gold glasses are sold for $12. You can include braces, which you can't typically get separately, but you can get this healthy smile set that includes braces, so I just estimated the cost of the braces at $4. A value add to the CYO is also the box that it comes in. It's much sturdier and is actually a keepsake box that can double as a closet or other storage for your doll. People do sell these on eBay from anywhere between $10 and $20, so I accounted for $10 for this. With all of this included, the physical value is closer to $200, which makes the $220 price tag a bit easier to swallow. I still do think that it's far overpriced, but I can see why they have arrived at this price point. So really quickly, before we go into some more pictures of her, I just wanted to show you her hair. Now, her wig is absolutely beautiful. We can see that we've got some highlights in there, some lowlights, so it adds some nice depth, and the wig is not too thick or too thin. I'm really a huge fan of the way that it looks in general. So overall, the wig is beautiful and I'm a huge fan, but there's a couple of things I'll go ahead and point out to you now. Back here we have some small short baby hairs that cover some pieces of the wig cap, which is to be expected, but I still wanted to show you. And my main concern with it is actually that it sheds. So I had a Truly Me 84 who has now been customized because her wig did the same thing. So now I'm wondering if it's these long wavy wigs that are that way. This one does not seem nearly as bad as my Truly Me 84 was, but every time that I run my finger through this hair or just kind of like pull at it even a little bit, we get hair coming out, and that is not good in my opinion, so I wanted to make sure that I noted it for you guys. With that out of the way, let's get into some comparisons and some pictures of her. So the first thing I wanted to point out is the difference between the actual doll that I received versus the create your own generator version. Obviously, the create your own generator is not great, we all know this, but I thought it would be interesting to put a picture of her from a couple of different angles side by side with the CYO generator one. I will be sharing plenty of opinions on the CYO generator later, but first I just wanted to show you some comparisons of this new doll with some of the ones in my collection already. To wrap this video up, I wanted to share some final thoughts on this process. While I was thinking about my own opinions on the CYO generator and the general process, I began to think of all of the discourse I had seen surrounding it online. I thought it would be interesting to ask you all for your opinions and chat about it that way. So I mentioned on my Instagram story that I was looking for opinions for a discussion in this video, and some amazing people came through with their thoughts on the CYO generator and just the CYO line in general. So let's go ahead and dive into it and see what you guys had to say. Myrtle and Bob says, I struggle so hard with the renderings they give us. They make it impossible for me to plunk down the $220. I don't feel like I get a good enough sense of the doll. And I agree with this one. I mean, like I showed you guys earlier, the CYO that I received in the mail looked so different from the one that was on the generator. And had I not had an existing idea of what that mold looks like in person, I probably would have been disappointed, or at least thrown off a little bit. 5 Stars 3 Sisters says, I miss pixie cuts. It's because I have one and can't find a mini-me. Nerdy's Doll Corner says, I really wish they hadn't discontinued the pixie cut hairstyle. That limits so much. Also, I think they should have more face molds. And then Raised by AG says, I wish they had bangs as an option still. Now, I agree with all of you. The pixie cut was so cute and honestly seemed really popular. I mean, it was a hairstyle you couldn't exactly get in the Truly Me line, and a lot of people have pixie cuts, including my own sister, so I don't know why they got rid of that, and I hope they bring it back in the future. As far as the bangs, I think that those are really coming back. I know when I was a kid, I didn't like the dolls with bangs because I was so sick of them. That's all they really had. But now we don't really have dolls with traditional pie cut bangs anymore. So to see those bangs again on the CYOs would be really awesome. All My Girly Loves says, I wish the CYO generator provided more options, like the newer McKenna and Corinne molds, now that they are part of the Truly Me line and not exclusive to the original dolls. Same with the Marie Grace mold. If I could order the MG mold in a dark skin color, for example, a combo not currently available, I would be much more enticed to spend the $200 on a CYO. I feel like creating unique dolls is the point, right? Also, I want separate light and dark blue eye options, not just blue. I think this is a popular opinion. At least I've seen others complain that blue isn't light anymore. And as a person with blue-green eyes, why can't blue-green be a color like hazel is? I'm thinking similar to MG's, which I think were called aquamarine. I think this is particularly important now that the Truly Me line is so small. And yes, I completely agree with everything that she said. I mean, I personally have blue-green eyes as well, and it's been hard to come up with a mini-me. If I had that option with the CYO generator, I could make a doll that actually looks like me, which would be really cool, but they just have kind of a darker blue, which I don't see on real-life people as often. Marie Grace mold, Corinne mold, McKenna mold. I would love to see those added to the generator too. I'm sure that American Girl has some sort of business justification for why they have the limited options, but the create your own line should be about endless creativity. And until they start adding some of these options, it doesn't really feel like it is. Into the Dollyverse says, I love the CYO feature, however, I think there can be some improvements to it. I'd like to see other molds added, like the Corinne and number 4 molds. I'd also like more eye colors, not all of them have to be realistic. I'd love pink and purple options, as well as adding Felicity's and Caroline's eyes. Overall, I think it's fine, yet I'd like for AG to take it a bit further. And I agree with this one as well. Everybody has really good opinions here, but I really like what you said about kind of the pink and purple options for eyes, because I've been thinking about pink eyes for a doll with albinism, and I think that that would be really neat to be able to create on the CYO generator. You know, purple eyes would be fun. I think a lot of little girls would be super into that eye color option. Just expanding upon the options seems to be a recurrent theme here, and I couldn't agree more. Josefina Mold Enthusiast says, I love CYOs, I love my own CYO, but it is truly wild that they keep hiking up the price while removing options. Dark blue eyes, bangs, light red hair, the pixie cut. I understand inflation exists, but they cost too much more than the regular dolls to begin with. Also, I wish the generator wasn't such an uncanny valley. You don't really know what the doll you're making is going to look like from the generated images, which are just slightly off. Yes, 100,000% agree with you. I really miss that light red hair, especially that strawberry blonde is so pretty. I had a number 35 at one point and sold her. Sorely regretting that now. But yes, the generated images are an uncanny valley, and it's I don't know, they almost look a little creepy. I completely agree. I hope that they improve that in the future because I think honestly it would help them to sell more of them. Willow Dollies says, I like it, but I have issues with it as well. I'm upset they have removed like 60 to 75% of all of the hairstyles they once had. I don't understand why they also can't add all of the face molds that they currently offer. I would love more eye colors too, and maybe more freckle patterns. I think for the price, the doll should come with a pet or an extra outfit or something. I really like the point about the freckle patterns, and in fact, recently saw a Kaya mold CYO on Mama Llama's AGIG channel. Her video is linked below, and her doll has a new freckle pattern that I absolutely love. Here's a picture of it for reference. We know that American Girl has used several freckle patterns on the dolls in the past, and I think it would be so fun if we could choose the freckle pattern for our CYO dolls between the ones that they already offer. I'd even love to see more of a variety because the perfect sprinkle of freckles over the nose isn't really what you see in real life. The people I know with freckles have a dusting of freckles all over their face, or they're like me with just a few larger freckles in certain spots. Devil Claws says, I'd love to see the MG and Joss face molds in the generator. I'd also like to see bangs again. And yes, just reiterating AG, we really want more options. Forever Young Doll says, I liked the older version where the vinyl was numbered. I wish the generated images improved. Yeah, the old generator did seem to have way more options and then also just be more user-friendly in general. I don't know why they went ahead and changed it, but yeah, just adding those numbers to the vinyl, 5, 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, really helps. And honestly, it's how the dolls are categorized on AG's website anyway. They have the number and the description, so I don't know why they can't just add that to the generator too to make it more clear what you're actually getting. AG Kristen says, the face shape options are confusing. The generator doesn't accurately show them, and their renamed names are confusing. I've seen many people buy the wrong one. I had to call AG to make sure I picked the right one. The operator called it the Just Mold before I did. If they know the names we typically call them, why are they called something different on the generator? Articles also have conflicting information on which one is which, adding to the confusion. Yes, I agree. The face molds that are in the generator don't look like they actually do in real life. In fact, I was browsing a Facebook group and I saw a mom who got the Sonali mold for her daughter because she thought that, hey, this looks just like my daughter. She gets the doll in person, and since it looks nothing like it, she just ended up disappointed and confused. And I think that would be the case too if they just referred to the mold as the Just mold, because, you know, that same mom who's not a big longtime fan of American Girl isn't going to know what the Just mold means. So we need to find a happy medium on there of, you know, tying the weirdly generated images to dolls that, you know, you can see a real life picture of. And I think they do a bad job of that, and I wish they would improve it because, again, those images aren't accurate, and it's just disappointing, confusing, and frustrating for all involved. Chrissy's Dolly says, it's nice if you want something truly unique, but AG has made so many dolls it's a little pointless in my opinion. Yes, there is definitely a lot more of a variety of dolls now. When I was a kid, it was basically the same doll with different eye, skin, and hair colors. And although there is a larger variety now, the Truly Me dolls could never be all-encompassing because we have so many unique people out there. So CYO dolls definitely help to fill in the gaps as far as that's concerned. Forever Fall Dolls says, I love the CYO generator because American Girl doesn't have much diversity in their line, at least when the CYO generator originally came out. They are doing better now, especially with the World by Us characters, the last two Gaudis, and the new Truly Me releases. I am super sad that they have taken away the lookalike branding of the Truly Me line and basically gave that marketing to this line. I don't think that it's worth the $220. Parents shouldn't have to pay that much to have a doll to look exactly like or even similar to their child. Sad about them adding the Kaya mold too. I liked that her mold wasn't on there. It makes her more unique and special. One of the only things I like about the line, besides it adding diversity, is the eye color ability. I love the fact that you can create a doll with heterochromia. But there should be a birthmark option, and I feel like what would be really cool is giving an option of an AG book of choice with it too. Yes, she absolutely makes such a good point. And I remember noticing with the new Truly Me release that they looked to be more like friend dolls because you have the unnatural hair colors and they don't have as many options for all of the nuances of, trying to create dolls that look like everybody. So I went ahead and looked at the old branding of the line, which you can see on this page. So the current branding for the Truly Me line is a doll that's a friend who knows just how to celebrate who your girl is right now. If we go back and look at some of the older catalogs, we can see that while the dolls still are kind of meant to be a friend, they also rely heavily on creating dolls that look like you. So she's just like you. You're a part of history too. Or by choosing your doll's hair color, eye color, and skin tone, you create a doll that matches your own unique beauty. So you can see that they did at one point have a focus on creating a doll that is just like you, hence why that line was called Just Like You for so many years. And that wraps up today's video. Thanks again to those who submitted those opinions to me. I had a lot of fun reading them and reacting to them, and hope that you've all enjoyed seeing them too. Thank you all so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. I know this was a bit of a longer video and I was kind of experimenting a bit with the format, but I hope you enjoyed regardless. If you do have any questions or feedback, be sure to leave a comment for me below. I really appreciate every comment I receive and they always make my day. I love chatting with all of you. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye guys!